Let's look at some
Hey, what's up, guys? Over here.
gaming industry meltdowns after the election. Gaming industry meltdowns over election results by Ref Says Desu. I need to cleanse my brain, and this is how I'm gonna cleanse it. By watching some meltdowns.
Hey, what's up, guys? Over here. So at this point, I think it's very obvious that in the gaming scene, whether it's with journalists, developers, what have you, there is definitely this defiant attitude towards DEI and also wokeness, where pretty much they will double down on this stuff no matter the cost to their sanity or their career potentially. And we saw a recent story that lines up with that, where a former Sweet Baby Inc. consultant would go out and say, basically, I don't care if supporting DEI is going to hurt the optics of my projects. I'm still going to do it anyways because that's what I want to do, and I want to spread my message that way. And that sort of rhetoric and the doubling down on things as...
That reminds me, if you're in the VTubing space, and you were on Twitter after the elections, if your goal is to lose your audience while having meltdowns on Twitter, good riddance. Nobody will miss you. Good job at cutting your audience in half, I guess. Bye-bye.
The landscape around them is changing is reflected by the last 24 hours, where a lot of journalists and developers in the gaming scene have had some pretty epic meltdowns, including some violent rhetoric and even veiled threats against political opponents. And that is a result of the United States presidential election. I don't care if you're happy about Trump winning, if you're not happy, or you're just completely indifferent. I just think the reaction to this from the gaming scene is very representative of something we've been seeing for a while. Americans and people across the world are just tired of wokeness being injected into everything, and the games journalists and the developers looking at these observations, they just don't care. They just keep doubling down on their beliefs.
Games journalists. I just need to say that word and we all know who we're talking about.
Even if everything is changing around them, and you expect the kind of meltdowns, as you'll see from the already very large compilation of people freaking out over the election.
I found the compilation. However, it's all Asmongold is in this, but I want to watch it as well.
Results, but you can expect those same freakouts from games journalists as well, beginning with Jake Steinberg here. So they would freak out on Blue Sky and post this article in reaction to their anger about the election results.
We need to look more at Blue Sky, because that's where these people hide. Blue Sky is pretty much just like Twitter, but pre-Elon Musk. That's what it is. It is censored. It is left-wing till like the moon, until the moon, and it's like to the moon. It's insane. It is absolutely insane.
Results saying, anyways, I wrote a piece yesterday about how anti-woke gamers are basically Nazis. Yes, calling...
It's me! It's me! I'm the Nazi! I am the Nazi. I have so many of these videos saved. I have so many bookmarked, it's insane.
Everyone who disagrees with you politically a Nazi is something that is not really working out for some people now.
You know that meme of like the Austrian painter sitting like on this little like car driving down a rainbow, and like with a title with it, everyone a guide to politics. Everyone I disagree with, everyone I disagree with is a Nazi. That's what these people are. If you ever feel useless, remember these people exist. Yeah.
But anyways, he is not having a good time over the past 24 hours. In fact, he has gone private on his Twitter account, and that was after he made this tweet and got some backlash for it, saying, politics used to require a certain amount of tolerance for shit being boring. That barrier is gone. News is just entertainment. Conservative political engagement happens in video game hate campaigns. The audience includes our...
Perfect, to be honest. Same shit, different faces. Yeah. It's like he's talking about tolerance. But bro ain't all that tolerant, I guess.
Our most selfish now. Sick. And after that got some blowback, they would retreat to Blue Sky, which is really a gold mine when it comes to content, because a lot of people have been operating on Blue Sky completely unchecked. This is a pretty new app. It's just a Twitter alternative. And a lot of people in the gaming industry, especially woke people, they're just openly posting whatever they want because they don't think anyone's actually checking. So in this case, after a long series of posts expressing their anger about the election results, they then posted that article that where they're claiming that gamers or anti-woke gamers are basically Nazis. And then I guess he would just copy and paste the tweet he made because it was such a banger. And look at that, 5 likes. It was definitely worth doing.
Yeah, the people were like going to Blue Sky and saying that they got a lot of engagement. Look in the VTubing space, who's back now? A lot of people, because the engagement was only because people went there, but after that it plummeted. Because these people don't understand that when you switch to a new platform, they purposefully boost your reach so that you stay there.
All of that. But anyways, he would be posted about by Mark Kern here, who's a veteran of the industry. And of course, that would lead to him saying, Grum's signal boosted me from behind a block, so my mentions on the other side are predictably full of Nazis. Yep, once again, anyone who disagrees with me or criticizes me is a Nazi, according to people like this. However, we would get some additional headlines from the gaming industry with some pretty unhinged reactions to this election. So
yeah, you look like a modern Mass Effect writer. You look like a modern Mass Effect writer. I was told to not be so annoyed by colored hair, but when my pattern recognition kicks in and I see this, it is a red flag, to say the least.
So you can see from that Park Place, Mass Effect writer says, am trying hard to restrain the vicious need to lash out at other people following the election results. So if you go to that article there, you can see they also went to Blue Sky and they're posting some pretty unhinged stuff, beginning with this post right here saying, have reached the point in this game where the first night shrieks and wails and sober is no longer acceptable. Tomorrow is a new day, but to get there, it's ZZZ Quill time. Unsponsored F this shit. I'm emotionally unavailable for the next 5 hours. Sleep aid of choice. I guess more NyQuil or ZQuil, whatever it's called. And then they say, if you can, whatever you need, try to get some sleep. Even if it's scattered cat naps, your brain needs to energy to function, and it will want to function. I don't know what they're trying to say, but it basically sounds like they're...
How can you lose your shit over an election? I still don't get it. Okay, so for those who are liberal, who may come across this video, just take a list. Just make a list of all the fears you have. Write them down. And you will realize that none of this will happen.
They're using NyQuil to get themselves to sleep, like they need to be tranquilized because they're so upset about what happened. But this is the more interesting Blue Sky post where they say, am trying hard to restrain the vicious need to lash out at other people. I am too furious, too spiteful, too exhausted, too flattened, too scared. And yet, I am incandescent with a rage that has only this damaged body and mind to house it. Yeah, like I said, I think people are a little too comfortable on Blue Sky posting some of the most unhinged stuff. This is something that they would claim gamers would post. Like, this is their idea of what gamers look like in their minds. And of course,
I don't think anyone here is liberal. At least not in the comment section. Otherwise, we would see that. Well, not in stream, right? But like, you know, if somebody comes across this video, you never know. But on the other hand, if you come across a ref says there's a reaction, you probably are not a liberal.
Of course, it's always projection, and it's just some weird sharing of violent rhetoric going on in their mind. But believe it or not, folks, we would have another writer from that studio getting in trouble. So Dragon Age...
They have all colored hair. They all got colored hair. Every single one of these. Also, this is the non-binary Kunari. This is not how the Kunari looks, but okay. Just telling the Dragon Age creators that. Of course.
The Veilguard lead writer Patrick Weeks melts down after Donald Trump wins the election. So here is another person we've actually talked about before. This is one of the lead writers at Veilguard here, and he is very upset, but taking a more, let's say, less direct approach to everything, where he's just reposting other things people are saying, but they're pretty unhinged. So this post here that he reposted says, Lawrence O'Donnell talking about how the Electoral College is a massive voter suppression technique, and it enrages me that we're still being controlled by white effing enslavers centuries later, all while people refuse to even murmur the words white supremacist. I don't think you guys have any issue.
They tell me that there's white supremacists, but I've never encountered a white supremacist. This is like a legendary left-wing myth. And enslavers. Who is enslaving anybody here? What?
You murmuring the words white supremacist. But anyways, these effing enslavers who support the Electoral College. The only issue with this post is, not only did...
See, they found out officially. Last time I checked, I've never enslaved someone. Maybe there is somebody in my basement, and I just don't know it yet. You know? Maybe I forgot that I'm a slave owner. I might need to check the basement after stream.
The Republican Party win the Electoral College. They also won the popular votes, so their complaint here is rendered completely moot. But anyways, there's some more posts here saying the Harris campaign has been warning about this for days now, but it bears saying again, Trump will probably try to declare victory tonight. Do not fall for it and denounce it loudly. Well, literally just about 20 minutes ago, before recording this, she conceded and gave up her run. So again, rendered completely moot. And here's another one talking about some of the breakdowns of the population and also talking about how Harris ran a smart campaign. And then this last one talking about encouraging people to not obey in advance, basically trying to say, don't give in to whatever they're trying to do. And yeah, it's a lot of fear-mongering and hysteria being shared by this writer over at the Veilguard. And not too surprising, but there's some more.
Also, what does not obey mean? You mean like not obey law and stuff?
Action going on in the gaming scene. Mark Kern here, who was the lead developer on the original World of Warcraft Classic, he would say this: Activision Blizzard devs are melting down after the election. About half the office is losing their minds. People are crying, panicking, leaving work early. Trans people are talking about buying guns. People are...
No shit. An American person buying a gun. Who would have guessed something so out of the ordinary? That's crazy. Like, if you can own a gun, you should probably have one. Especially in the United States.
Passing out crisis support line numbers. It's complete chaos. And that at the time was a rumor, just from his observations and his connections at Activision Blizzard. But yeah, this sort of a reaction in a work environment is literally insane. And on top of that, you get confirmation from Mark Kern. Here's some of the dialogue, the leaks of some devs talking about some very unhinged things, saying it must be working on blank, making me more violent, but I have never been more tempted to buy a gun. And also saying, after all, an armed minority is harder to oppress. So again, another...
That's the same thing. I've never seen an oppressed LGBTQ member. Not once. Maybe like in, like, you know, Muslim countries. Maybe in China. But in the West? This is what propaganda does to a motherfucker. They say it's to ban guns, and yet when it's them, then that it's okay. True. Now that I think about it, usually these people are for like banning guns, but now I'm gonna buy a gun. You should have bought a gun to begin with.
String of violent thoughts.
Though these people are so crazy that maybe a gun is not the best thing they could buy.
From these people who are a part of the industry, and it's just not really that surprising. And Mark Kern will also bring up this sort of dialogue about what he thinks people are going to do in the industry, and I do agree. I think seeing what's happening with the United States and also just...
I think AAA devs will try to double down and get an even stronger protest message out. This will tank their games even harder, and investors slight spelling error harder, and investors will eventually punish them in the stock market until profit reigns over insanity. 2 years to stop the spread. Don't forget to identify as non-binary. Chad, I'm non-binary now. I will not buy slop. Guns are banned in England, but crimes are still through the roof. Yeah, a lot of like knife stuff. Here as well. We don't have guns here, but you can carry a knife.
With really cultures across the world rejecting wokeness and all that, I don't think the results of this election is going to make any of these people in the industry change their ways. In fact, I think they're going to double down even harder and allow their political rhetoric to bleed into their work even more than it already is. I have a very strong feeling that's how things are going to go. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. Obviously, a lot.
These meltdowns were fun. Views were fun.